Hello again, YouTube pipe smokers and the YTPC. Southern Piper here. I appreciate you stopping by and spending a little bit of time with me for another installment of Monday Musings. I am actually recording this Sunday evening, Father's Day. I just got home from spending the weekend with my boys and the afternoon with my dad. And spending the afternoon with my dad and I went to see a minor league baseball game this weekend with my kids. It kind of got me thinking, we're more than a fourth of the way through Major League Baseball, probably even a third of the way through their season now. Got the College World Series going on. It got me thinking about my love for baseball, how I got that love from my dad, and I'm passing that on to my kids. So I wanted to share a story with y'all about baseball. But before I do that, I'm going to show you I am smoking in a newly acquired Boots Shokan. I'm assuming I am pronouncing that right. But this is in there, and I believe I'm going to pronounce this right, Regate line, and it's a number 1290. And in it, I'm smoking some Carter Hall. So, and I know several of you are sitting there thinking, oh my God, he remembered the name and number of a pipe he's smoking. I looked at it right before I pressed record because I wanted to get it right this time. So, I grew up, I was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s and 90s. And my dad, huge baseball fan. He would take me to games in Atlanta to see the Braves. Because we don't live very far from Atlanta. And we would go see the local minor league team here in Birmingham, the Birmingham Barons. And we were season ticket holders for University of Alabama baseball. So went to a lot of baseball as a kid. And man, I have countless stories I could share, and maybe one of these days I will. But it got me to thinking today as we were watching the Texas versus Texas A&M elimination game for the College World Series. It got me to thinking back when I was in college, and Alabama had a great baseball team that year. Wound up playing for the national championship, losing to LSU. But had an amazing season. I don't remember what our record was, but man, just a hell of a season. And through the regular season and the postseason, we played LSU a total of 6 times. We, in the regular season, which was one of the last series of the regular season before the SEC tournament, we took 2 out of 3 from them in the regular season. And then, so we had a 2-1, advantage. And then they early in the ACC tournament that year, they beat us in an early round, and then we came up through the elimination bracket, or through the losers bracket, and we won the SEC championship. So by then it was three games to two our favor, having played them 5 times. And then we both made it through the regionals and made it to Omaha to the College World Series, eventually meeting for a 6th time, and LSU winning, and they had a great team as well. But anyway, I said all that to set the stage for the story I want to tell. So, a buddy of mine and I, so this would have been, I don't know, sophomore, junior year in college. And one of my best friends, who was also a big baseball fan, went to school at Jacksonville State, up in Northeast Alabama. And having grown up in Tuscaloosa, he and I would always go to games. Like in high school, we'd go catch a game, and then we kind of made it a routine. In college, we would at least try to go to one weekend series. And so we had developed this tradition. We would go get a couple pounds of barbecue and a case of beer, and take my dad's truck and park where we could back it in and tailgate and see the game. And so that year we had done it for the LSU game, and we parked, I believe it was the Saturday game, we parked, and LSU has, if you know anything about college baseball in the United States, LSU has an amazing program. The history of it is very storied, and they have a very strong following, so people travel to see LSU Tigers play baseball. So we were parked in the outfield, and the way the field was back then, you didn't have a lot of obstructions in the outfield. So in left field, you would have people set up, and they'd bring vans, and somebody had like a big moving style truck, and they would come sit on top of it, and someone had like a makeshift portable kind of bleacher thing that they would park, and they would set up, and people would set up in this grove area and watch from outside. And it was a cool tradition at the time, and unfortunately that's gone away. Well, we were parked beyond the right field fence in a parking space backed in so we could see the game. And to our right was a group of LSU fans, and they were just fantastic to hang out with that day. So my buddy and I, we had gone and gotten some barbecue and some fixins, and we had gotten some beer, and it was just me and him, and we were hanging out and eating and watching the game and drinking beer, and it wound up being Alabama won, and it was an amazing game. It was just an offensive outburst for us, and we won the game big. And the LSU fans that had been parked next to us were they were happy. They were enjoying life that day. They were living large. They were eating. They were sharing food with us after our food ran out. When our beer ran out, they were sharing their beer with us. And the gentleman was telling jokes. One of the guys in their tailgate was telling jokes to us, and they were Pierre and Boudreaux jokes. And I remember one of them to this day, which is uncanny for me that I can remember something from so long ago. But I remembered it, and it made me laugh. So I'm going to share that with you. It goes something like this. So Pierre and Boudreaux decided they wanted to go down to Baton Rouge for a Tigers football game. And neither one of them had a car. And so they decided they were going to rent a camel and take the camel down to Baton Rouge. So they did. Here they go riding along the camel. And they get to the stadium, and traffic to get into the stadium was just horrendous. Cars backed up for miles, people waiting, trying to get into the parking lots. And here go Pierre and Boudreaux bypassing all the traffic on their camel. And they pull right up to the stadium, and they tie that camel off, and they go into the game. And they were so excited that they got in so easily, and obviously didn't have to worry about parking space, so they just tied up the camel right beside the stadium. Well, during the game, a circus had come into town, and all the animals had gotten loose. And there were dozens and dozens of camels in this circus that had found their way over to Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. So when the game let out, Pierre and Boudreaux walk out and they see all these camels. And Pierre says to Boudreaux, "Oh no, how are we going to find our camel so we can leave?" So Boudreaux starts walking up to the camels, and he starts lifting the tails up one by one, lifting the tails up. Pierre says, "Boudreaux, what in the world are you doing?" He says, I'm looking at the camels' rear ends." And he says, "Why on earth would you be doing that?" He said, "Because on the way in, didn't you hear everybody saying, 'Look at the two assholes on the camel'?" Get it? He was looking for the two assholes on the camel. You get it? See, I have no feedback, so I don't know if you're getting it. No, that's funny. I don't know how I remember that joke all these years later, but it makes me laugh thinking about Pierre and Boudreaux. And he told several other jokes, and I wish I remembered them too, but he had us howling laughing. I do hope it provided you with a little bit of laughter too, and I'll try to remember some other stories that fond memories of mine from many years of going to baseball games with my dad and my buddies. So anyway, I hope you have had a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a great week ahead. Until next time, my friends, I bid you happy smoking and blessings to you.